Hi, everyone. I'm Autistic Ange. This is a podcast for adults who recently found out they're autistic and are looking for other autistic people like them. So, as I'm continuing to learn what autism is and seeing things through this new lens I've got, there are things I'm finding out about myself that I think are awesome and things I don't quite like so much. But as always, I am grateful for now knowing that being autistic explains all this shit for me. But like some of this stuff already is its own episode or will be, but like it's worth at least mentioning. So let's start with like, I guess, quote, the downs of autism. I don't know if they're really downs. They're just, I don't know what else to call them. Things I don't like about being autistic. So one of the big ones is being frustrated, like just getting frustrated really quickly. And it doesn't take much. It could be something as stupid as like I'm working in a Word document and the screen freezes for 10 seconds. That's frustrating because it just interrupted like what I was doing and gonna lose my train of thought. And like this fucking Word document, like why does Word have to do this every so often? I don't know, stupid shit. Or like when I can't do something, which is like most things, kind of. Well, not really, but I mean, like putting something together. I don't do that anymore because I know that I just am not good at it. But like, getting through the first couple of steps and I can't, and then I get frustrated and like I'll throw like the instruction manual down or something of like if I'm building something because like I don't understand the fucking pictures. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, if you hear that jingle, it's just my cat looking for some treats and his toys. Sorry. Anyways, look, there's a squirrel. Just kidding. All right. So yeah, frustration. It's just like when this stuff happens, it's a surprise for me too, most of the time. Like, I don't know that I'm getting ready to go from 0 to 100 in like the next 5 seconds. Like, I can't predict that that's going to happen. It just does. And like the thing that like is so irritating sometimes is like people get warning signs. Like when they're building up to an emotion, I feel like I don't. Or if I do get those warning signs, like I don't fucking see them. So like I feel like I bypass all that and it just happens. And like being out in public and having that happen is the worst because it takes so much energy to try to just contain myself because I don't want to make a scene in public. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that I even feel like this right now. Like the frustration part is like I just have a very short fuse for things. If I can't do something, it immediately like annoys me because like then I know that I'm going to have to spend more time either A, learning how to do this thing, or B, finding somebody that can help me do this thing, or C, finding somebody that will just do this thing for me because I can't. I don't think there's any in there, honey. Sorry. Let's see what else. Being judgmental. I don't like that. I feel like I'm just an asshole all the time. Like, if I'm doing pretty good with awareness, one day, like, I happen to notice the different thoughts I'm having and, like, how judgy most of them are. Like, I don't know. Hey, dude, there's no treats in there. Sorry. The jingling's a little bit annoying. But yeah, like being judgmental. I've been like that my whole life. I don't like that part about myself because who am I to judge? Yet those thoughts are pretty intrusive. Like they just come into my head, Like there's this lady that lives across the street and down like a couple houses. And those people that, I mean, I don't know if it's because maybe it's because they're lonely or I don't know, but like they'll bring their dog out front to go to the bathroom, and then they'll talk so fucking loud to this dog. The whole street can hear you. And like, I don't know if like these people are trying to be funny. I don't know if they don't even realize how loud they're being, but like this lady will go out there with her little fucking dog. And my first thought is like, why is that dog taking a shit in your front yard? Like, can you bring it to the back? Like, that's what backyards are for. Like, why are you doing that? And then I think you're doing it because you want people to see your little fucking dog and how cute it is. And then I think, like, God, if I had a dog, I wouldn't let it shit out front because I don't even want to pick this shit up. And then I'm going to have to sit there and, like, pick shit up in front of the whole neighborhood. Like, that in itself is just stupid. Like, I shouldn't care about that. But, like, I just come up with all these judgmental thoughts about why this person is doing this very odd behavior. Because it just, I don't know. And the lady is nice. I'm sure she's very nice. But, like, I don't care, like, what you have to say to your fucking dog. Like, if you sit there and tell your dog, hurry up, boo-boo. Hurry up. Come on. Take that poo-poo. Come on, boo-boo. Like, your dog doesn't know what the fuck you're saying to it. Like, you sound like an idiot. Like, save that kind of talk for, like, in your house. Like I do. Anyways, what else? Speaking of talk, how about difficulty with basic speech and communication? I just went into that last time, so I'll just skip over, I guess. The downs. Let's see. No sense of direction, but is that an autism thing? Or is that just like a me thing? I don't know. Social awkwardness all the time. That's definitely an autistic thing. Anxiety about everything, like everything. You know, like, I'm just an anxious person. And I don't even like saying that and admitting that. Like, there's one thing to have, like, anxiety, you know, like, everybody feels anxious at certain points, you know, at certain times, certain things going on. Makes them feel uncomfortable and anxious. But, like, I feel like I'm just an anxious person because, for example, I have to leave in about an hour and a half for therapy. And it's only, like, it's not even a 10-minute drive. But, like, I go once a month because, you know, things have gotten a lot better and I like to kind of maintain. So, but, like, once it gets to the week of the appointment, I'm just like, okay, so, like, I can't eat or drink anything before, like, not that much, because, you know, like, I have, that's another thing, you know, like, I have, like, IBS-like issues, which, you know, I've learned that autistic people often have upset stomachs and difficulty digesting and stuff, but, like, it comes the week of the appointment, and it's only a 10-minute drive to and from. I know how to get there now. She's a nice lady. I've been seeing her for years. I'm fine once I get there, but it's just like, okay, it's like, I don't know if it's because I'm leaving my safe space, like, okay, I don't know, like, because I don't get like this when I have to go, like, if I want to go, if I feel like I need something and I need to go to the store and get it, like, right then and there, like, I'll do it. I don't need to plan and work up to it. It's just when I have something on the books, I guess, I don't know, like, and it's an actual appointment, I have to, prepare for this interaction with this other person because I already know I'm not good at interactions. Like, there's just a lot that goes into just, I don't know, everything. But yeah, like, I have anxiety about everything. Like, when I'm driving, is my car going to break down? Because I have a history of that, but that's for another day. You know, like, or just really, really, really irrational things, like, there's a storm outside and there's a lot of lightning and yep, it's getting ready to hit our house and then our house is going to catch fire. How do I get all the cats out? Do I just open the door and they run and, like, I wish them well? Like, do I try to save anything? Like, what is this? I know it's PTSD because, you know, like, I think of plans for shit, like how I'm going to get out of something. I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Personalizing, I think that is, I don't quite like that so much. Black and white thinking, you know, like this stuff, like, I I either feel like a piece of shit or I feel like a celebrity. I either know what I'm doing or I don't. You're either ethical or you're not, like stuff like that. Because, like, I don't know, like, you can't be an ethical person 90% of the time and still be considered an ethical person if 10% of that time you're doing stuff that's not considered ethical. There's no gray area there. So, yeah, black and white thinking, like, that's been a hard one because it makes me look so stubborn. When I'm not really trying to be, it's just that's really how I see things. I do understand there are things that have gray areas. There's not that many things, but, I'm sure there are. But, like, I don't know. I guess, like, things that are, like, laws, for example. Like speeding or something like that. Does that even count as black and white thinking? Like picking and choosing, like the gray areas I operate within? I don't know. But that's black and white thinking is rigidity thinking, like there's different terms for it, but it is frustrating as fuck sometimes because this also rolls into like, I consider myself an empathetic person. I do care about people. I do, like, I feel things, like, pretty deeply, so, like, I do have feelings, I care about people, but, I don't know. Wait, what was I even talking about just now? I knew I shouldn't have recorded as soon as I got up. Black and white thinking, I don't know what I was talking about. I don't ever know what I'm talking about. Do I? Anyways, let me just move on because that didn't make sense at all. Sensory overload, like that's a hard one. Temperatures, like having to figure out how to regulate my body properly. Thank fucking goodness fall is here. And I don't know how this works, but like, it's like fall, what's today, Friday? The fall was officially like last night or something. Excuse me, it's like weird how like it just seems like the universe knows it's fall and all of a sudden it goes from like 80 degrees out to like 55. How fucking weird is that? But I'm not complaining because I love the cold weather because I can regulate my body temperature very, very well. I don't feel like barfing or being, getting nauseous or anything like that, but like, just sensory overload in general. Like if I'm at the grocery store and there's screaming kids, it's kind of hard to get away from screaming kids and it hurts my ears. But I also don't like wearing headphones out at stores because I don't want to be surprised. I want to be able to hear like what's going on around me. So yeah, hard time making decisions. This feels like an almost everyday thing. This, like, for me, I don't know why, but this, like, mainly revolves around, like, food. So, like, what I mean is, I don't know, like, now that I've listened to my body and I know what makes me, like, feel right, what makes me, like, feel like crap. How do I explain this? Like, I enjoy tasting things. I don't know. Is that even the right way to say that? I like food. I like how things taste. So, like, if I'm going to eat something, I most of the time don't even know what I want because, like, I want to make sure that whatever I'm getting ready to eat is going to be fucking delicious. I want to make sure that it is going to be tasty. Like, I need to make sure it's not going to be too filling, because I don't feel right when I eat, like, who does when you eat, like, more than you really should at any one time. It's just hard to decide what I'm going to eat, like, or if we feel like ordering out, that's the easy decision is like, okay, we're going to order. We're going to go on Grubhub and find something. And then it's like, well, what do we want? Because it's not just me. My wife is like this too sometimes, but, like, this doesn't sound good. This doesn't sound good. This doesn't sound good. But all these things sounded good yesterday. Why don't they sound good now? Like, I'm really hungry, but like, why doesn't anything sound good? And if it doesn't sound good, I'm not going to eat it. Like, this is like a whole issue. Like, I know this is like disordered eating and stuff like that. And I'll do a whole episode on like food because, yeah, I've learned a lot about autism and food and how those two don't go together all the time, if that makes sense. But yeah, like making decisions is hard. And also not just with that, but like, you know, it's overthinking too. Like, something as dumb as like finding a new series to watch on like Netflix or whatever. It's a hard time like making a choice on like what I want to watch, because I go through a whole process of like bringing up IMDb and looking at all the ratings and like figuring out, is this the type of movie I'm willing to spend, like, or movie, you know, that too, but like, is this like a series I'm willing to spend my time on? Like, does it have a good story? There's some decent actors in there. Is the rating a 7.0 or above? Yeah, because I don't know. And then like that ties into, I don't like wasting my time. So if I'm going to invest in a show, I better enjoy it and really look forward to watching it. Because like for me, the worst thing is like you just try an episode of something, and then what if you don't like it, but you didn't do any research about the show beforehand, so you just wasted time. That's pathological, isn't it? I don't know. Meltdowns. Ugh, those suck. Taking forever to process things. Holy fuck. Oh my God. I freeze. Like, and I don't know when this is going to happen. There's times where like I can process things like normal speed. I can go back and forth on conversation. I know what I'm talking about with this, or know what I'm talking about with that, or understand this thing that's being explained to me, you know, like, but then there's just these times like where somebody says something to me and like I freeze because like I don't, like, there's this weird thing going on in my head where I'm like, okay, what did I just hear? Like, what does that mean? Like, I don't know. It's like a fucking delay. It's so annoying when these things happen. And so, like, it just takes me longer to work through some things, too, you know? Like, what's easy for somebody else to understand is very difficult for me to. Maybe that's where I was going with that empathy thing earlier. I think that's where I was going. Where, like, some things, I guess, is this processing? I don't know. But anyways, there's some things that like I don't understand at all the perspective of the person who's going through them. So like in order for me to understand something fully and have empathy for something, not everything, these are just like some things, I have to actually have the experience myself. And this is like one of, I think, my wife's most frustrating things, or one of the things she's most frustrated about with me is that it just takes me like forever with shit sometimes. Like right now. Yeah, I'm having a hard time processing right now. What the fuck? And so, yeah, I mean, like, silences like this are just embarrassing because it's hard to explain. Like, I think of something. I probably sound like I'm all over the place, by the way. I'm very sorry for that if you're still listening. I don't know. The processing part's just difficult because the freezing is embarrassing. Nobody knows what's going on inside my head in those moments except for me, and it's like I can't make myself unfreeze in those moments until I've registered some sort of comprehension about whatever the fuck is going on. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm slow. Like, I don't know if that's, like, I don't mean to use that word. It's probably not the right word to use, but I just feel like people will be like, oh, like, what's wrong with her? Like, why is she taking so long to understand this very simple thing? I don't know. Because it just depends on what it is. Sometimes I run through every possible scenario in a span of 30 seconds, play everything out, write a book about it, and then, like, what choice do I make? Like, that whole, it feels like it all ties in together, everything. At least in my crazy mind, that's how it looks and feels right now. Anyways, moving on. Let's see, what else can be a down, or maybe routines, I guess. Sometimes they're annoying for me because, like, sometimes I have to do this routine. I have to do it in order to feel sane. It's part of my day. I have to do it. If I don't get through my routine, that's going to throw me off for the rest of the day. Sometimes it feels like that. Another down is, like, when people make judgments and assumptions about what autism is. Like I did before I really learned about it. So yeah, that's all I can think of for that right now. But anyways, the awesome parts about being autistic. Holy fuck, I can't believe I spent like 20 minutes on the downs. Half of that time was probably not even knowing what I was, like, saying or talking about. But anyways, so the awesome parts, the ups about being autistic for me, from my perspective, my autism, is I can read people so well. Like, that is my superpower. And I'm glad I have it. I'm not very happy about how I got it, because that all stemmed from wonderful childhood, like, you grow up in a toxic house. You have to learn how to read people. You have to know, like, okay, that facial expression means this is about to happen. This is where I should go. How do I stay safe? So, like, I just got very, very good at, like, reading people's facial expressions, picking up stuff in their tones, hearing the things that they weren't saying, because it was like, I know it was just like, it's like a safety thing, but that's just gotten so much better the older I've gotten. And I've always appreciated that about myself, because, like, it's frustrating for me, like, when I'm, like, watching somebody interact with someone who's not good for them, or who's being demeaning toward them, or whatever, and that person doesn't even realize what's going on. That baffles me. Like, how do you not know you're being patronized right now? Like, how do you not know you're being severely disrespected right now and talked down to? How do you not see these things? How do you not see that this person's, like, narcissistic, or that this person's, like, very insecure, and that's why they're acting this way? Like, because that's the thing too. Like, I kind of have an idea of why somebody's acting the way that they are. It served me very well, because it immediately lets me know who to stay away from, because they won't be good people for me. So I like that about myself. I like that I can do that. Like, seeing things for what they really are. I guess that's maybe kind of the same thing. I don't know. But, like, sometimes I really, like, somebody says something, I know what's really going on. I know what you're really trying to do. I know what your motives are. So that's not working. Being a good worker, I think that has a lot to do with me being autistic. From what I've learned, that most of us have such good work ethic. And we're highly motivated. We're, like, considered the best employees from everything I've been learning. And the thing that's a little frustrating is, what? My wife just sent me a text that says I'm pooping. What? Okay. Moving on though. What was I just talking about? Oh, working. So yeah, like, I am hearing that, like, there's employers that are specifically looking for autistic workers, because they think they're going to get, like, this, like, huge batch of, like, autistic workers that are going to churn out all this fucking work for them in, like, such a short amount of time. And, like, I don't know what their thinking is, but that's kind of fucked up, I think. And that's very, very stereotypical because you can't generalize like that. Like, you don't know, like you can't assume that every single autistic person is like the best employee to have, because that's not true. That's just not true. Everybody's different. But I know that like I have always been such a good worker, and I've always had that thrown back in my face. Like I feel like I'm not trying to sound like a narcissist or anything. Like, I'm not one. This is just my experiences, but yeah, I've never had a problem at a job. As far as work goes, like, it does take me some time to catch on to things, and like learn different systems and stuff like that. But like once I do, like, I am the best employee to have. Like, I like working. I like producing good results for people. Like, now I do it for myself, but well, for the people I do work for, I guess too. But I've never had to be sat down and be like, what's going on? Like, why are you so behind and blah, blah, blah. I've never had that, because that would fuck with me. Like, I would not be able to function knowing I was so behind in like something as important as like the stuff I'm getting paid to do. And I enjoy working. Well, not all the time. I mean, when we moved to this area about a decade ago, we moved for a job. Like, my wife and I got the same job somewhere. I'll go into like all that weird shit. It's not weird, but it might sound weird at another time. But we moved out to this area because we both got offered positions at the same place. And we were good workers and stuff like that. And we ended up getting laid off 6 months after, and it seemed like the dream job. Like, we were like, I don't mean to say it like this, but like we I don't know if this is even the right way to say it, but we were like not highly sought after, but like the type of workers that we were or are was something that this specific company really wanted. So like we moved out here for this job, and then we got laid off 6 months later because like a bunch of bullshit at the top with like corruption and all kinds of stuff. So we got screwed. And so when we were laid off, like, unemployment only lasts for so long, and it doesn't even pay that much. So I ended up getting a job at the post office through what was my then landlord, because like she worked in the post office like many years, and she was able to get me a job there. I took the test and everything, and I was like, hey, it was like one of those summer things, but it was better than nothing. And I was excited to be working, but like it ended up just being mindless work. Like, pick this box up and put that there, and then put this on this conveyor belt, and then wait for this to come down this chute. And it's a lot of standing, and it's a lot of picking things up and walking somewhere and putting them down, and then having like, it was robot work. And I was so frustrated. I did still do my job, but like I felt like I wasn't using my brain. No offense to anybody at all who has jobs like that. This sounds like such a bitch thing to say, but no offense at all. I highly respect people who do anything, any job. It's just like, for me, that was not a job for me, because I have to be thinking, I have to be processing, I have to be working through something, and there isn't any of that when you're working with mail and boxes. At least for me, there wasn't. So, yeah. That was the worst. I'm just gonna move on. What else do I have to say? What else is awesome about being autistic? Oh yeah, having an explanation for my life. Finally. Fucking awesome. Knowing that there are people like me out there. It's hard to find them, but I know they're out there, and that's more than what I had before. I don't feel like I'm just some fucking alien anymore. I don't feel like I don't belong, because I do. And I will take being autistic any day of the week if I know, like, if I feel like I belong, and that people accept me, and that I'm not just some I don't know. I'm sure some of you guys know what I'm talking about. Oh, I know who I am. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I mean, that seems weird because the whole decision thing I was just talking about, but like, I don't know, like, I've read that this is not an autistic trait. Like, you're just very specific about like what you do or don't like. Um, did you hear that? I just hit my hand. I don't know why. It was, nobody can see me do that. Anyways, yeah, but like, if I don't like something, I'm not fucking doing it now. Like, I'm autistic. Like, I have spent so many years doing what everybody else wanted me to do and like making them feel comfortable. And I know this sounds like an asshole thing to say, but it's like at this point, like, I don't give a fuck, man. Like, if I don't like something, I'm not going to do it. I'm not. And that is so freeing. It is so freeing. I know I don't owe anybody any explanations. If I don't want to do something, I don't have to come up with an excuse or explain. You know, it's just, it gives me like this new lens. Is just great. I like it a lot. Sensory stuff is cool. You know, like when I'm not feeling overloaded with stuff, I love music. It's very calming. I love certain smells. I like certain textures and the way that things feel. Special interests to me are pretty cool. I'm very glad that I have them. I'm very glad that I know what they are. You know, and I mean, like, I don't know. Isn't that cool that, like, you find something that, like, catches your interest and then you just look into it a little bit more and it makes you even more interested. And then the next thing you know, you're devoting, like, almost all of your waking time to, like, learning more about this thing or, like, how to do this thing or, you know what I mean? Like, to me, that shit's pretty cool now that I know it's not weird to be like that, because I always was like, why am I so obsessed with this one fucking thing? Oh my God. And now I know that that's normal and it's okay to have special interests. And I like learning about things and I think it's just awesome. Like, for example, I don't know, like, there's this band I like called Tegan and Sarah. Anybody in the LGBTQ plus community probably has heard of them. But yeah, I would consider them a special interest, I think. Yeah, I kind of would, because when I first heard their music, like, oh my God, like, it was just, I loved their music. And then I went and found everything that they ever did. And I listened to that over and over again. I have gone to several of their shows. You know, and I don't think, I am like, I don't think I'm obsessed with like them as people. I just think they're musical geniuses, and I always am fascinated by how somebody became something like that. Like, how did you get that good at what you do? Like, what did you go through in your life to become like that? You know what I mean? Like, I like to learn, like with UFC too, like I like to learn about the background of the fighters, because I can't just turn on a fight and watch it and not know who the people are and still enjoy it as much, because what kind of journey did you go through to get there? You know, how much work have you put in? What does this mean to you? What do you stand to lose if, like, you lose this fight? You know, stuff like that. I consider stuff like that special interests. I don't know. What else is a positive? I think just thinking differently than a lot of other people is an asset. Because I see things that people don't see, and vice versa too. Like, the stuff I focus on is not the stuff a lot of other people focus on. Like, I don't see big picture type stuff sometimes. I just focus on details. Like, this is why this person's being this way. And I don't always see like what the broader picture is. Like, what does that mean, like, in the long run, or I don't know. But yeah, like, I really think it's cool that, like, I can see things that people don't, that I can explain things in a way that, like, you know, maybe people didn't understand or think about or consider, or, you know, and then, but also, like, I like it when people can point something out to me that I have a hard time seeing, because it's like, wow, how can you see something so clearly and I didn't? Like, how, like, to me, that's cool. Like, just the way that we can process and the things we do and don't see and why we do or don't see them. Is this just like babbling now at this point? Or is anybody still listening? Because I feel like I just rambled the whole time about whatever, I don't know. But my point with this episode is like, there's like negatives, I guess, like there's struggles that us autistic people face and deal with on a regular basis, but like, to me, the good far outweighs the negative. I just love that I'm autistic. I don't know. I'm really considering not publishing this because I really think I rambled and didn't make sense. Like, I don't know. But that's just feeding into insecurities and stuff. All right. Yeah, that's all I've got for now. Very sorry. I really should stop recording as soon as I wake up. I probably won't do that again. So if you got this far, thank you. So yeah, this was just me recording to an app on my phone, hoping people find me and listen and relate, and maybe have a similar experience to the experience I had when I heard myself on somebody else's podcast for the first time. You know what, guys? I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to cut a lot of this shit out of this episode, so I'm sorry. I'm just gonna post it, and if people are still listening, great. And if not, like, I completely understand. All right, goodbye.